Well, it's been a while, but we're back. It's the Nottaku Podcast, everyone. Yay!
Joe's dead.
I'm
finally
so
happened.
sorry. They lost me in Japan, and well, this is just my ghost.
No. We've spirit on the wind.
Wait,
like
what are you talking about? Japan didn't happen because we don't have a podcast for it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely didn't lose it again.
We've put Joe
Just
together.
like you lost me.
We put Joe together with sound clips from all the previous podcasts.
That's generic.
I was going to say, it's surprising you got some surprisingly good sound clips in here. I can't personally wait to use the sound clip that I've got right here.
Man, that's a good one.
He always did stand there quietly.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Well, I am Alastair. I'm the host of this podcast.
Oh, get right to it, Jesus.
Yeah,
fine.
I am, because that's how I do things.
All right.
There we go.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, I'm Hugh. I'm the podcast equivalent of Mohammed Abdul.
Okay, I'm glad you sniped Alastair before he could see.
Oh, I thought he was done. I'm sorry. Alistair, continue.
Oh, he said was his name.
Yeah, but then he kind of tapered off. And
There's a bit. There's always a bit.
All right.
I mean, and now I can basically be like, I'm the podcast equivalent of the guy who's salty for 3 reasons. 1, because I was cut off. 2, because my FGO login streak has been destroyed. And 3, the fact that I can't watch the Konosuba movie in this country.
Padoru. Crap,
Anyway.
It's been 2 months. That thing's gone.
What, Pado, really? Are you saying it's going to be 2 months until fucking this podcast is uploaded?
Let's be honest here, it'll be at least 3.
Merry Easter.
Merry Easter,
If at
indeed. I'm Hugh. I'm the podcast equivalent of Mohammed Abdul. I came back to life, but no one actually wanted me back.
Isn't that the podcast equivalent of this podcast?
Yeah, basically. I wasn't going to say that. I couldn't introduce the entire podcast with a giant JoJo reference. Alistair would have hit me. It wouldn't have hurt, but he would have done it.
Oh man, it's scarily similar to the one I had prepared, which was I'm the podcast equivalent of this podcast. It vanishes for several months. People know it's coming back at some point, but don't necessarily care or want it to.
Aww.
That's great, but what's your name to go along with that?
Oh shit, I'm Joe. I'm Ben.
What about you, Ben?
Hi, I'm Joe, and I'm the podcast equivalent of the main character of No Guns Life, waiting for someone to pull the trigger against my head.
Hey.
Oh no. Oh no.
What about the one that's posting this picture in the podcast chat?
I'm Lewis. I'm the podcast equivalent of myself watching No Gun Live, waiting for Joe to blow his head off.
I was going to say, should we just get into that one since we're already talking about it?
Fuck me, how do you squander an episode 1 like that? Like,
I know, right?
Yeah. Ben, have you seen?
I have not. I have seen the opening, and that is all I have seen of the show.
The episode 1.
I have never seen it.
All right, that's great too. I like that. No, it's fine. No, I mean, you've already talked to Alastair. Why not get the fucking hat trick?
It's fine. I'll keep on talking. I can keep on talking if you do. It's fine.
So it was one of the strongest openings to an anime we've seen in a while. Really,
exception by Butler.
You're welcome.
That's a bit
Strong start, lad. Strong start.
We've also got a podcast.
If you haven't worked out, listeners, we are talking about this season's anime.
No, we're not.
We are talking about this season's anime. Yeah, fucking hell, what a weak season. So No Gun Life's the kind of shit you'd like, Ben. Starts off with like a hard-boiled type detective story. I quite like the first episode of this thing.
Good first episode.
A hard-boiled detective story, and it basically says, "Listen, bitch. Here's the premise. Some people have got mechanical parts which naturally grew after some shady shit by a corporation in a war. Okay, yeah, cool. That's fine. Yeah, I'll take that. They're very clear about it. Okay, and this dude's got a gun for a head. All right,
Is it explained? Nah, we'll explain it.
No, but we don't need it. And it's like okay, and he's told to find us he's told to find basically some property of a megacorp. It's a bit Shadowrun, a bit cyberpunky as well as hard-boiled detective. It's cool. That's pretty cool. Then there's a big-titted, like, cyberpunk nun, but you're like, they keep calling her sister, so there's some kind of ecclesiastical element to it. So I don't mind the big-titted nun in this case. It's kind of appropriate, actually. Then he punches a train, and the fucking series goes downhill from there.
Yeah, I was going to say, the series was on the train.
Is this the new jumping the shark, punching the train?
Punching the train, that's
Close
exactly
enough.
what it is.
Not, yeah.
It jumps the train, and appropriately, the moment that train stops, the show loses all momentum.
I was gonna
It just
what it ends up doing is it basically squanders an incredibly interesting premise by punching the train and going, right, now how can I be generic and boring?
Yeah,
Because it goes every trope that the hard-boiled detective genre does, it then proceeds to do like it's ticking off a checklist.
Its second episode is about why he smokes. Like, and it's like, fuck off. It's a trope of the genre. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
just
off.
let it happen.
He just smokes. He's a gun that smokes. That's it.
Doesn't a gun smoke after you fire it anyway? Technically,
He never gets his head fired. That's kind of half the point, and it's also a plot point that's not really explained well enough.
Yeah, a really boring plot point.
You know that there's a really fine line between something that's a mystery and something that's just not explained well.
Just
it
irrelevant.
crosses really hard in the second episode into just not explained well.
But the thing is, it's hard to describe just what goes wrong, really, because it just starts off with pace, sets the genre, keeps the mystery up, and then it starts to explain the wrong
Yeah, it goes,
things.
hey, what do you want to know about? And I'm like, I've got a couple of questions. He's like, you're right, you do want to know about this short, fat, blonde, evil guy that's not particularly threatening. What? No, I don't.
What? And it's like, you want to know about cigarettes? And it's like, fuck off. I want to know about your world building.
You want to know about this secondary character that we've only just introduced? Not really. Well, here you go.
But she's got tatas.
Yeah, but she's a girl, and she has piercings, and she's somewhere between 13 and 30.
It really does just lose all momentum. I'm convinced there was one guy with a decent idea on the staff, and then at some point everyone else just looked at him and stabbed him in the kidneys.
I'm convinced the cocaine bucket didn't run out. The cocaine got snorted into one bloke's nose, and then he had a seizure, and they're like, well, there goes Phil. He's the only one with ideas.
This is a classic case, unlike Big Order, where the cocaine bucket never ran dry. This is a production where the cocaine bucket most definitely ran dry. Like
the cocaine
they ran
bucket
out of
gave
ideas.
the cocaine bucket gave someone an what's it goddamn called?
Overdose?
That's the one.
Ophthalmologist.
Yeah, I was going to say the cocaine bucket gave the bloke that had the ideas an overdose, and as a result, everyone was just like,
Yeah, he tweaked out
shit.
Pulp Fiction style, but that was it really.
Yeah.
The problem is that the moment your world starts being interesting, is at that point you look at everything else and go, oh, that character's a bit dull. Oh, this is a bit tropey. Oh, your animation's a bit shit. And it's like, I wasn't noticing that stuff when you were keeping me intrigued. Like, it's kind of like the Game of Thrones thing, where like the moment one part of it started being really bad, you went, oh, that doesn't make sense. Oh, this bit was a bit shit. Wait, 2 seasons ago this happened. It's like the facade
you just
fell.
turn around and look at the anime equivalent of D&D, and are just like, what the hell were you doing? They just shrug at you and shoot themselves in the head.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so like that's no gun life really. I mean, it's kind of like depressing because like as I say, whereas Big Order like went full speed ahead backwards, No Gun Life just stops. Like it
shifted into first. Which is sadder.
It shifted into first, then second, then third, then it went into neutral and just cruised to a stop.
And then its clutch fell off.
Yeah, and then the drive chain fell out the bottom. And it wasn't a particularly interesting drive train fallout either. It wasn't like the drive chain exploded. It was just like you said, roll, 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 roll. Oh.
It really is like, fuck.
It's the equivalent of my sex life.
Yeah. But yeah, so
it's a real shame because like when I was looking at stuff to watch this season, that was something that did stick out to me as something that I might be interested in because the poster looked cool and the description looked cool. I never got around to actually watching it, but that's a shame.
I think that's the problem. Shit. The description and the poster are the only two things that are kind of cool about it.
It's got a cool premise, but it's kind of one of those that go yes and they go hardboiled detective. No, like just go back to the drawing board. Like,
starts flipping over the things. Noir, we've done that one. Cybermechanical mechanics goes in the shell. Hardboiled detective, any of these things. Sidekick with a power that this thing wants. Everyone does that.
If you don't actually mind me briefly segueing, Speak of the Devil, I've been watching Ghost in the Shell, and it's really good. that's basically all I've got for that.
Is this from my Crunchyroll account that you stole? And
Funimation, my friend.
Sorry, my Funimation
It's
account.
your Funimation account.
That you stole and then stuck my face on, and I can't figure out how to remove it.
Wonderful, you noticed.
I personally don't see what the problem is of the profile picture being your face.
Your profile. It's your profile.
I
That's what
can't
your picture.
insert screen cap here.
No, do not insert screen cap here.
Oh, show his face. Show it to everyone as long as all of his contact details.
Oh,
No.
No, after that's 100 likes on the video, we'll do a face reveal for you.
God damn it!
We'll
Well,
also
no,
reveal his
well-
exact location and
gonna-
what class he teaches.
Are you telling me 100 likes? In which case, I can't wait to be revealed in 40 years.
Mate, if you think we're going to have 100 likes in 40 years...
Wow,
underestimate-
self-burn. Those are rare.
You underestimate my ability to create false accounts.
Look, right. Here we go. Here we go. In which case, Ben, since you're giggling, let's get out of the way the two anime that you're watching that no one else is, because apparently this is now just a thing you do.
I don't know how this is a thing I do, but apparently it just is.
It's Beastars isn't even on Netflix yet, so you must just be pirating it, right?
Yeah, like everyone else and their mother.
I mean, I'm not, because I'm waiting like a good boy.
My mother doesn't know how to pirate.
Man, we've
I would
got
I would love the concept of your mum just walking in, really, really lovely face, and just like, Joey, I hate you so much. Joey, I've learned how to pirate, and you've got just like, she's got an eye patch on, the tricorder hat, and just holding a bootleg version of No Game, No Life. Anyway,
Odd choice, but I like it.
Anyway, Beastars, what's it about?
Well, Beastars is a show set in a school based around anthropomorphic animals. So my first...
It's a furry!
See, this was my first reaction. I saw the poster and was like, "Oh, it's going to be furry trash. I'm not going to watch
Yiff
that.
in hell, fucko.
I'm not going to watch that shit at all."
Ben,
Yeah.
Ben, I know you're about to try and defend this. Can you confirm to me or not whether or not the bunny in it is a sex fiend?
The bunny is not, in fact, an actual sex fiend.
It's just that she fucks everything under the sun.
She has sex with a lot of men. Yes.
There we go. To continue,
It's funny when it's not happening to me.
It's yiffing hell, mate. Continue.
So I didn't want. At first, I was like, "It's furry bullshit. I'm not going to watch it." And then I kept seeing good reviews and people saying great things about it. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll try it. Why not?" It's really fucking good.
$2,000 for a suit later.
So... oh no, that could.
I'm a panda.
So it's set in a world.
No, not.
It's set in a world with anthropomorphic animals where meat is completely illegal because it's the equivalent of cannibalism, given animals are basically the sentient race in the world. So it's just the struggle. It follows a very large grey wolf, and he's quite a gentle, nice person, but he's fighting against his animal instincts to basically kill and eat his friends and other students.
Okay, so it's the anime equivalent of literal Zootopia.
I prefer it to Zootopia.
It's the same plot, isn't it?
Well,
Cannibals.
it's got a lot more of an intricate world that it actually has like made and fleshed out. So there's a black market for meat that pretty much is universally accepted that the carnivores go and eat meat from to not eat herbivores out in the real world. But until you graduate, you don't get this black market. And
I just like the idea that everyone's just kind of like, yeah, man, just go to the black market to get some meat. Where's the black market meat come from? Just
don't ask.
Oh,
you don't ask where the black market meat comes from.
It's that's explained. It's donated by hospitals and funeral homes.
Oh my fucking Christ!
Oh,
That's how it's.
That's
Wait, did you guys just go ew? Like, what did you think happened? They went to the fucking playground. They went, "Take me, lion!" Like, what the fuck?
No.
Funnily enough, there is a scene where there's like this antelope, like old antelope guy down an alleyway, and he pretty much lifts up his hand and he's missing a few fingers, and the rest of them he has price tags put on, and he's like, "You can eat my fingers if you pay me that much."
That's a weird kink.
Yeah. No, Lewis, my problem is that old meat's generally quite tough.
How do you know?
Also, if it's coming from a hospital, a lot of it's infected, probably.
Yeah, bastard sell by date.
Right,
Like,
gee, fuck me. This is an okay I you stop?
Oh, I know it's an okay premise. I'm just
the problem was with you, not the show.
I was going to say, I'm crapping on this for the sake of crapping on it. Like, I also want to watch this. I'm just waiting till it comes on Netflix because it won the manga won one of the prestigious new manga awards. It's apparently exceptionally good.
It's really, really good and has there's 6 episodes out at the moment, and it has really good character development already and amazing characterization for each of the people, and you just get interested in it. It's the first show I've watched in a long time that it feels like 5 minutes have passed by the time the episode's done, and I'm like, holy fuck, was that half an hour? What?
Mate, you've got it on fast forward.
It's really well done, and the first episode sees him just get the scent of a herbivore during a full moon, and he's a wolf, and so he just goes pretty much ballistic and starts getting ready to tear the person apart and eat them, and then the rest is his guilt and trying to deal with that, but it conflicts and puts it on the way humans experience the same things, and so it does a great job of overlapping it and making it all feel real and relatable.
Okay, at what point does someone get murdered?
Literally the start of episode 1.
Brilliant. Nice to know that I can call these premises quite quickly.
Sounds a bit like the world of Fables.
Yes, it's got a very Fables sort of feeling to it. One of the interesting things about this is it's animated by Orange, the same company that did I forgot it now.
Land of the Lustrous.
Land of the Lustrous, that's it.
Okay.
And the animation is absolutely stellar. It's all 3D, but really, really high quality 3D. And
why aren't they just making the second season of Land of the Lustrous like everyone else wants?
Because this came out and we didn't know we wanted it, but it's there and it's amazing.
I thought you liked Carbonari of the Iron Fortress, Hugh.
I do like Carbonari of the Iron Forget.
Where's my Attack on Titan, Hugh? Why don't they just make that?
They have. It's 4 seasons in.
That was from the past, fucko.
Dab!
Honestly, though, it's a really good show. The soundtrack's astounding, smooth jazz and everything going through. The intro is the jazziest fucking thing that has ever existed. It's kick-ass Japanese jazz music playing over claymation animation of the wolf hunting down the rabbit to kill and eat her. And it's really, really well done, the OP, and the song is the catchiest thing I have heard all year. Honestly, the whole show is fantastic. The way that the characterization, the character growth, I can't get my head around how good it is, because I didn't think there'd be that association for anthropomorphic characters, and I thought the entire time I'd just be stuck there thinking it's furry trash. But I don't. I genuinely love the main character. I think he's a fantastic character. And it just does such a great job of bringing the world and the characters alive in the whole thing. I'd highly recommend it.
And for those of us who can't be asked pirated, do we have a release date for Western
There is no
Netflix?
release date because we do not know how long the series is going to last, but it will pretty much be released Western subbed after the final episode airs on Japanese
Sometime
Netflix.
in 2020, I assume.
So yeah, sometime 2020. We're on episode 6, so it will be either 7 weeks or 20 or 16 weeks. So quite a while.
It's either I get it near Christmas or I get it near Easter. Either or.
Yeah, pretty much.
This would be quite a nice.
one of your Christian gifts.
One of my non-religious based Christmas gifts.
Happy
Hanukkah, everybody.
Yeah.
Not to date this show or anything. I don't. It's a seasonal show.
It's November the 4th.
Date the seasonal cast, Hugh.
I don't know at this point. Look, can we talk about a show that me and Alastair are surprisingly enjoying?
No.
All
What,
right,
Emergence the anime?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about iCarly again.
What, Emergence the anime?
Yes. That's a real fucking twist toward the middle of that season.
Dude, I never expected for the blonde-haired one to be a creep, but there we go.
I never expected Carly to have all her arms and legs ripped off.
And then get shoved up Thanos' ass.
What the fuck is happening?
Tard wrangle, Alastair. Tard
Right, okay, I'll start this off.
All right then.
So originally this season, as we all know, this season seems to be full of sequels. So I wasn't originally planning to really watch anything new, and then
Thank you, host of Anime Podcast.
Yes, well, I have. Well, whatever. And anyway, but then 2 shows actually managed to grab me, surprisingly. One of which is Oresuki, or as it looks like from the fucking poster of the girl in the middle, looks exactly like the fucking girl from Emergence. If you don't know what that is, don't look it up. You'll save yourself a lot of pain.
Do you want to just give it the? Do you want to give the English name, mate, so people don't get confused? Are you the only one that likes me? Come on.
Yeah, that one.
Be prepared.
You know, one of my favorite ever Emergence crossovers where I generally read it.
It's the JoJo one.
It's obviously the JoJo one.
No, not the JoJo one. There's a JoJo. There's also now a Kokios one where she teams up with Lelouch.
Brilliant.
No, I was like, this is
I
fucking
hate
great.
it. I actually hate it.
Oh god. Anyway,
dude, this show, you like from what you all know, I like my romance anime that breaks apart from the norm and like breaks apart the concept, disestablishes it. This does that so well. Not as well as The World God Only Knows, but really goddamn well when you realize that every single person in the entire cast of this show is a complete bastard.
well, the thing is, when I first started watching this show, like, the first half of the first episode, I'm watching this, and it has the premise of, like, you've got the main character who's has these 2 attractive girls seemingly go out on a date with him, and then at the end of which are seemingly going to confess to him, but what they actually do is they just sit down on the bench and go, I'm in love with your best friend. Please hook me up with him.
God, I love that bench gag. It is my favorite.
The bench gag is like brilliant.
It is a genuinely funny running gag in that there's just a bench whenever anything bad is going to happen with a conversation, to the point where the main character becomes self-aware that goddamn bench is there again. I just think it's a good running gag because they've stopped using the bench now, but he's got like PTSD.
Yeah, no, it wasn't in the most recent episode where he's like things are seemingly going well, and then he's looking around for the bench.
It's like something happens. He turns around, like, "Where's that goddamn fucking bench?" But it's just, it's a surprisingly well-developed show that looks like it would be so generic if you look at the poster, but just sits down and goes, hey, so do you want to have a show about how anime relationships are basically completely broken on a base level? Well, here you go. Do you want to have a show where every single one of your characters is deep down some kind of asshole? Here you go. And I'm like, I like this because it knows what it's doing. It's unapologetically evil in its premise. And I kind of adore it for that.
The thing that I did, so like you watch the first half and it does that. And then the second half kicks in and suddenly you start hearing the main character's inner monologue where he's like,
a dick.
The main character is actually a dick. And everything he's saying in that inner monologue is, I literally was going while watching the episode, it's like, yes, that's how I would react in this situation. Yes, I would call my childhood friend a bitch for doing that. Yes, I like this guy.
Alastair is. I like the fact that Alastair is finally coming out as the asshole he is.
Yes.
Silence. I thought that was a joke. I thought that was a good joke based on what you've just said.
Honest,
apparently, everyone just thought, "Wow, that was a bit
halfway
much."
through these sentences.
Oh, thank God! I thought that was my connection.
I thought it was I didn't want to say anything.
I was just there, like, oh, it's clearly just me because Alistair's responding. Me and Joe just there, like, oh fuck, not again.
All right, technical difficulties.
We can unroll the Astolfo fucking service announcement again.
Whatever. It's just surprisingly unapologetic about being about twats, and I kind of love it for that.
It's like, and there's so much stuff that I do like about this thing, and it's one of the few shows this season that I'm literally actively kind of just waiting on Crunchyroll for the episode to come out, which I haven't done for a while. I'm enjoying it a lot. The other thing I've found with this show is kind of like how similar to Bunny Girl Senpai in a way of the first 3 episodes could just be standalone on their own and would be excellent as like a movie. Like, because the first 3 episodes just really just work as like
I think
a thing.
I think the problem is the first 3 episodes don't have like a conclusive ending, so you'd have to kind of have a little bit. Whereas I'd argue that's one of its strengths, because Bunny Girl Senpai had a conclusive ending to its first 3 episodes, so you can pinpoint the exact moment that Bunny Girl Senpai became crap.
I don't think it ever became crap, but whatever.
Controversy.
I know, controversy. I can pinpoint. Okay, I'll rephrase. I can pinpoint the exact moment that Bunny Girl Senpai stopped being interesting for me, where I'm like, first 3 episodes really good, and there. Just look, Lisa. You can pinpoint the exact moment that the author stopped caring, and there.
Well, the thing is, with a lot of these things, you can always tell when they're written like as light novels, because they're just like the first book in a light novel series is normally probably one of the better books, just because this is the thing that kickstarts the series, and then they're just told, "Oh yeah, now write more," which sometimes doesn't work and sometimes does. But yeah, and also the main girl that is basically Emergence Girl is also just as evil as the main character, if not more evil, and it's great.
She has she has anime physics tits that only come out when she's in her attractive mode, and I still can't quite understand it. So I'm just assuming that it's completely and totally on purpose.
The power of bandages, mate.
I'm kind of just at this point where I'm like, this show's earned my trust enough where when something happens, I'm like, wait, what? I kind of sit down and go, you've probably done that on purpose. So I'm kind of fine with it.
Well, she does, because I've also noticed that she's the only character to kind of break the fourth wall. She comments on the fact of this is like, this is where the typical this episode would happen.
This is the beach episode. What? Nothing. But it doesn't do lazy fourth wall breaking, I'd like to point out.
No, it's very cleverly done, and I do think, as you say, it's a very good deconstruction of the romance genre. Like, I'm a big fan of the romance genre in anime. I'm not a big fan of it in normal media, but in anime, for some reason, I really like it. And this show is a breath of fresh air for me in that genre.
I just like watching genres get laid down on the floor and having a shotgun put into the back of their head. Like, that just makes me like amusing, where I just look at Isekai and just go, do it, bang. And that's all this is doing to the romance genre. It's just like, hey, isn't romance in anime really weird? Yes, it is. Kabam!
Well, it seems we're done.
I mean, fucking, I haven't seen this show, and I didn't even like The World God Only Knows or any of the other shows.
It is for a specific subset of people. Do not worry.
Yeah, I have to say, romance shows are an acquired taste, one that I have certainly not acquired.
See, I'm usually okay with shit like rom-coms, believe it or not. I think there's a romp. Just whenever it happens in anime, I'm like, this exists in the same world as Evangelion. Fuck.
Well, also, the problem is a lot of romance also just kind of gets thrown in for the sake of having a romance subplot, where they're just like, here's a show, by the way, romance subplot. Why? Like Code Geass has a forced romance subplot where I'm just like,
wait, which one?
The fact that you're having to ask which one means...
Yeah, no. Well, no, I'm asking,
it either means you're wrong or you're talking about the right one.
Precisely, because
there is two.
There are 2 forced romance subplots. We've got
there's one forced and one decent.
Hang on.
Right, there's the Shirley one.
Right, so Shirley and Lulu, so that never actually kicks off, and
no, it doesn't.
That's a bit of lovely wasted potential when she then gets mean to death by a chocolate.
Yeah, that's also funny. There's the Baroness, which I'd argue is actually all right.
Okay, so it's Kogi and Villain. That's absolutely right. She kind of needs to be there, but I'll admit that one is a bit hackney. But it does establish the fact that Kogi's a cuck.
Yeah, pretty much. What's the other one that I've completely
Come
blanked
on, keep them coming. I've got my answers ready.
Mate, right. I'm gonna say this. We were playing EDF the other day, and Lewis dropped a joke that I said, I don't get that. And he got super mock offended that I hadn't gotten his really minor reference to what the third episode of Code Geass.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, as to your final ones that you're of course referring to, there is the Carlin Lelouch subplot, which refers to the fact that she's attracted to maybe Zero and not Lelouch, and that provides a little bit of lovely stuff.
There's the Yuffie subplot, which I'd argue is okay.
Yeah, there's the Yuffie fucking Suzuki fucking subplot, which is actually okay, and it gives Suzuki, and it gives and it gives him a reason to be bad. But then again, I've got my theory that she actually loved Lelouch, and that gives me some deliciousness. So what we've proven is once again, Code Geass is better than everything.
Look, if we're going to talk about a show that's not as good as everyone's making it out to be, Fate Grand Order.
I didn't realize anyone was making it out to be good.
It's fine.
It's perfectly decent. You absolutely need to have played the game up to that point. Unlike what you were saying.
I will admit, I got so annoyed at the fact that everyone just spams energy balls, and I'm like, fuck. Come on, the
annoying thing is
a sword, fire.
It's really annoying that the two characters that get introduced in the first episode are the two energy ball spamming characters.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's the writer's fucking fault. It's not.
It is absolutely.
No, it absolutely is.
No, it is.
Cocks.
I think the thing is that I'm a big Fate Grand Order fan of the game, and so I think so it's one of those ones where it's like, yes, I am addicted to JPEGs. It is one of those ones where it's like I watched this show and went, this is significantly better than the 1 hour episode that we had 2 years ago that sucked ass.
Yeah.
This is significantly better because it's got a budget and some kind of creative vision behind it. It's
riddled with fake bullshit.
It's economically motivated creativity, but it's creativity. It's like the Lego Movie, and it's like, this is clearly here just to sell something, but I'm still enjoying it.
I think what they've done with this is I didn't particularly have high hopes to begin with for this, because it is essentially trying to use a plot that in the game is just a bunch of text to get you from one battle to the next.
Which goddamn shows every so often it just hard cuts to them finishing a battle and going, wow, thanks for helping us out with killing those rats in the sewer. And I'm just like, ugh.
So, I mean, so this does admittedly put the writing of Fate Grand Order on the level of fighting games, but
100%. I
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes Fate Grand Order as this show work way better than the previous one is that someone sat down and gone, what if we actually put a huge amount of effort into our movement-based fight scenes? So all the fight scenes are really quick and non-static and well animated, and you can follow everything that's going on, even though they're really, really kind of fast-paced, because it knows exactly where to put the camera and where to put the people. And so I'm sat there going,
scream with energy balls.
Yeah, and then fills the screen with energy balls.
I'm
like, at some point someone went, I know what I'm doing here. And then they went, but what about the energy balls? And he went, can we not?
No, see, they toned it down in the most recent episode, especially because they had Ishtar show up again, and Far Off the Angels.
She pulled a fucking gun.
Yes, but no, they do plenty of melee combat with her ability to fly, and it actually looked, and as Hugh says, that looked really fluid. It was really nice to watch that at the same time. I think they learned from the first couple episodes.
I was beyond impressed with the Jaguar Man fight. Holy crap!
Yeah, as joke characters go, they made it look good. I
was really surprised. I'm like, hey, here's Tiger in a Jaguar suit with a giant lance with a Jaguar paw on it. I know how this fight goes, and oh my word, this is really, really good.
No, they've done surprisingly well with a basic mobile game of JPEGs and basic dialogue. I mean, the fact is also they've obviously had to add lines for the main character to say, because of course the main character in the game says jack shit, apart from like the occasional one-liner.
I was beyond surprised that the main character in it is a man, because I was convinced that it was always a woman, considering every single person I know that plays Vanguard Order, with the exception of Joe, has them as a woman.
I mean, that's because Japan and they couldn't have the main character be in a sexual relationship with Nash, because that would be, you can't have two women doing that in Japan.
Reasons.
And as much as we love ladies, if they touch each other, we'll lose the Chinese crowd.
Yep.
All right, Disney.
It does, however, also
Blizzard.
make me interested in how the Camelot movies will turn out as well.
Crap.
Because they're also a thing.
I think there's only one or two of them. They're going to suck because this is a 12-episode season they're doing for the exact same frame of time that they're doing the Camelot movies for. So the Camelot movies are going
20 episodes, Hugh.
Is it? And in which case the Camelot movies are going to be ridiculously shorter. The Camelot movies are just going to be chopped up to be unrecognizable. They're going to cut subplots, they're going to cut characters, and if they don't cut them, they're basically going to turn up in like half a minute of just screen time going, "Hello, I'm King Hassan. Here's a way of getting past this guy. Goodbye." And that'll be it. And everyone will be in the screen and will be like, "What the fuck just happened?"
God.
Everyone will be as confused as Lewis and Ben are right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty confused, mate.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not confused. Just like it's
Bored.
not hard. It's not fucking hard to work out. Like fucking, it's Fate Grand Order. It's not the Count of Monte fucking Cristo.
He does appear in Fate Grand Order, though.
Fuck you and fuck your stupid JPEG game, you cuck.
You're absolutely right. Ben, Kengan Ashura Season 2.
Well, does Lewis not get a pick?
No.
Lewis isn't watching anything this season.
I mean, Prothesis.
So, do we actually know how far back that failed?
It failed.
No. I
as
just
Lewis
looked.
being
Yeah, I just looked, and like it was doing fine. What am I watching? Well,
Sorry, I didn't actually realise you weren't watching that. I didn't. Sorry.
This-
Get on with it.
Lewis, you may speak.
Well, no, because I started off saying I'm watching Ghost in the Shell, and it's really fucking good. And like, I decided to talk about that because, like, you know, I don't want us to have a collective memory of a goldfish when it comes to remembering some fucking anime, and it's nice. It's where, you know, so many things are influencing at this point. It's got some good literature shit going for it. Like, it's really good. Has anyone else seen it?
Are you on about the original?
Standalone Complex, yeah.
Ah, yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got a nice sub, it's got a nice villain. It's willing to fuck around a bit with some of the episodes. It's got a piss take after credit scene, which we need more of in like everything. Like where the Tachikomas begin to like talk about philosophy and or shoot each other, and it's just it's just nice and pleasant because it's been a lovely distraction from, like, you know, Crunchyroll and Funimation watching as they basically just piss isekai off my face, and I'm like, why don't you love me? And I'm like, I'm just not into it anymore. I kind of lied when I said I was into it to get to the first day, but I realized that, you know, you're not actually, you know, the person that you said you were, and I'm like, I just don't want to be pissed on anymore. You know, like, is that too much to ask? Like, maybe if it was that, we could have couples therapy, but I'm just worried that it's not going to work out. You know, thinking about my old flames again, and you think that maybe they did get me, you know.
All of this is happening while they've put, like, earplugs in their ears. So
earplugs in my ears, now they're shitting in my mouth, and I'm like, you're not even paying attention to me, are you? And then they're like, $8 a month, and then they take a fucking big shit in my face.
I'm going to go and sleep on my friend's couch.
Yeah.
Turn to the right and you see the...
Wait, you aren't even paying either Crunchyroll or Funimation.
You're stealing mine!
Can someone please get up a Soviet flag for me right now? Just like, listen, we all need to band together in our time of need, alright? It doesn't make any sense. Listen, basically what I'm saying is that I'm fucking both of your fucking anime girlfriends.
Lewis is going to go to the one place where capitalism hasn't corrupted yet. Spines!
Wait, what the fuck did you two just say? You kind of like that was a bit destructive interference there.
Absolutely.
I think that was destructive interference.
Yeah, that's fuck it. Anyway,
I don't know what's going on.
Yes,
anymore.
yes, it was.
No, there we go.
Okay. Wait, is that like some Command and Conquer shit?
It's the best. It's the
I'll
fucking
watch
best.
that later. But yeah, no, so I've been watching that, and actually, Joe, Hugh, and I watched Carbonari of the Armed Fortress recently, and like it's fascinating to watch something just die.
Yeah,
I love it.
It seems to have
so much.
it seems to have like some weird diehard people with it, like Hugh.
Hello.
And but most people seem to think it goes to shit. Lewis,
It's
I
like-
trust your opinion.
As far as we can tell,
You're
my
right.
opinion
Hang on a
is
minute.
trustworthy, yeah.
There we go.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah,
Continue.
Yep. So basically, here's my problem with it. So like, it's got an interesting setting, which it doesn't go into, which is something that many shows do. That's fine. Then it's like it opens up with a really great action sequence, and then you can tell that they got all of the choreography they could, and they went, "That's the best one." They just made that one immediately. The Carbonari are pretty awful villains, and like it's a classic example of where 3D and 2D, whatever. The pasta, like. Basically, it's a classic example of where 2D and 3D just does not mix, where they try and do some 3D when you can easily see it and it just looks awful.
Okay.
The main character's character design is fucking atrocious.
we enjoyed that so much.
I will stand up and not defend.
Leading to one of our favorite jokes, where basically we discover the Carbonari are all into autoerotic asphyxiation, and that's a consistent theme throughout the entire series.
It wasn't just the Carbonari. It was everyone's a sex.
Because everyone's a sex fiend, but like it just kept on happening. Where he kept going for his throat, he'd fall unconscious, that there was blood on his hand, and it was like, oh my god, he finally came.
Why aren't you grabbing me with your right hand?
Yeah, why are you going to the right hand? Like, there's one where he gets sprayed with blood in the face, and it's like, okay, cool.
We had a running
like-
gag that one of the guys had. The only reason why there's trains there is because someone was getting off to trains.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm pretty sure, but basically it's like interesting setting, okay, fairly dull characters, alright, action's good, yeah, then it's not. And it really peters out because then just the bad things keep adding up and no good things come to replace it. I'm not sure what the point of several characters are. Like there's the main like sort of lead who's like supposed to be like an engineer who's developed a way to kill the Kabane, but then they can already do it. Like there's like he's like I've invented a gun to kill the Kabane, and it cuts to a bunch of dudes with guns killing them. I'm like, what's the point of you? Then it's like, okay, so he might also be a viral expert, alright. So then he manages to turn into I'll come back to the joke in a minute, don't spoil it either of you, but like the half Cabernet is neither human nor Cabernet, and basically like he does that by choking himself out so he doesn't, I'm not kidding, so he doesn't become a zombie. And
Is that his excuse?
Yeah, no, and again, here, why did he have a belt choking machine?
He literally has it set up.
Shoots rivets into his shoulders to plates that, and then just chokes himself
And
out.
then he pops a sherbet lemon in his mouth.
Oh my god, what?
He's like, finally.
But the thing is that he replicates the process for how to turn someone to Carbonari, which is basically a vampire, but you need like a quart of blood every week, and you get superpowers. Like, why does he turn everyone into a Carbonari? Then occasionally gets really sad, and it's like the bad parts of Shinji, but then he doesn't come back; he just runs away.
Just keeps running away.
Brilliant!
Episodes 4 to 24 is just everyone sat there going, "Is he coming back?"
So the main
I thought it was only 12 episodes.
It is only 12 episodes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was making an Evangelion joke, but all right.
But basically, like the main character's unlikable. I don't get the point of a lot of the other characters. The setting is fine and not built upon. 2D and 3D animation doesn't mix, and the action choreography just kind of falls flat on its face. It just keeps occurring bad stuff that get good ones. By far the best part is that episode 2, they actually spoiled the fact that he's a half human, half carbonara, where he literally where someone goes, "Are you human?" or Kabani goes, "No, I'm a Cabaneri," which is full with endless humor when the three of us are sat there, and at the start I'd always go, "Are you black or white?" "Neither. I'm Asian." Just
And we did that every episode.
like every episode there's something new. Just like, "Are you X or Y?" "No, I'm Z." That's by far the best part of the show.
How people did not find meme potential in that, I do not know.
Yeah, as we said, like they spoiled that whole thing, and literally in the opening credits, don't they? Because it wasn't even a
they literally spoiled the second episode at the beginning of the second episode. So it starts off at like a 6.5 out of 10, and then it just like slowly declines.
Straight up 9 out of 10 for me. I'm aware I'm wrong.
I'll disagree with those.
9 out of 10, not enough water.
I'll disagree with those on the action scenes.
9 out of 10. Last episode sucks. Go on.
He disagrees with me on the action scenes.
I disagree with you on the action scenes. That's pretty much it. I think they're quite good, and
the first one was good.
Yeah. Well, my
yes, we know you don't like Kakio.
You don't like Bieber. We've had this discussion.
I'm immediately like, I was okay with it until Bieber showed up, and then I was like, this villain's boring. Bye.
That's what we put up to.
I kind of had the same thing watching this when I first watched Age of Ultron, which is the first Marvel movie I really detested, where my ex-girlfriend complained afterward because she kept saying, just like, I could tell you didn't like that. Why? She said every 5 minutes she just went... like next to me.
That was exactly what I did during Batman vs Superman.
I keep doing that during the show. Well, they'll introduce another thing I don't like, and they'll be like, just like not enough to really like fuck it to death, but I'm like, I'm really losing my enthusiasm.
I think the sort of show. Oh god.
It's the sort of show that you enjoy much more when you're getting slowly pissed at the point of blackout.
That did get better the more we got pissed. Then we took to it again the next day when we were that drunk, and it's like, oh, that was a fucking system shock. Like, this is just dull.
I at one point turned to you while we were watching it, and you were sat there on your chair, just like hands together watching. Something happened, and I saw you put your hand out in like a what motion. I saw your mouth open to say something, and your brain clearly went, "It's not worth it," because you put your hands back together and closed your mouth.
Just, like, this is not a show I love to hate. So yeah, I think that's worth mentioning because like I feel like this season is a bit Carbonari Down Fortress me, where it just starts off slightly above average, not good, not great, slightly above average, and then just peters out. Like, it just
slams itself into a cliff.
Every show's lost momentum. I know it's almost unfair to compare it to it, but like Devilman like starts strong and keeps the momentum, and it knew when to blow its load, and it's like these shows just don't.
Literally sometimes.
Quite. I love that scene.
Damn, I'm sure.
All over the ceiling.
It's a fucking good scene. I also love it when he's like then he just like kind of resigns himself and starts getting kitchen roll. That's what you do in that situation. He's like, fuck. Like, well, let's get to it. Like,
kitchen roll under step ladders.
Well, yeah, as someone whose bathroom flooded relatively recently, I was like, well, I mean, I can either sit here and complain about it, or I can go get a shitload of tissue paper.
I'm pretty sure we had to tell you to go get the tissue paper.
We did have to tell you to go get tissue paper.
Right. Don't hold that over me. I was having a really awful day.
You were.
You were.
Oh dear.
Right.
Not Lewis. Ben, Kenjin Ashira.
Kenban Segura.
I'm not gonna lie. I took one look at this and I was like, oh.
Kangaroo Segura.
So the first, I took a look at this and was like, oh, that trailer looks shit.
Yeah,
and then
you and I watched Baki, didn't we?
We did watch some of Baki, yes. Then me and Luke took a look at the trailer, and we were like, "This looks like it could be fun to watch when drunk."
Yeah.
So I watched 1 week, not drunk, but watched it, and I was like, "Oh fuck, it's good." It's actually good.
Right, calm down here. Right, is this Ben good or is this good?
This is kind of a combination. Right, Luke really enjoyed it. If you want a level of not just me saying it's good.
Okay.
But Luke doesn't like anything.
It's the JoJo of tournament arcs. It's ridiculous and in a fantastic way. It's 3D animated for the most part, with some 2D shots which can be quite jarring, but it's just so many ridiculous characters in these fights, and it's just hype and tense and crazy, and it's so fun to watch. And each of the characters are just outlandish, ridiculous JoJo-esque characters. The main villain of the series comes up to the hero for the first time and it's just like, "Oh, don't you remember me from when we were kids?" And then he's just like, "Oh, fuck yeah, I do remember you." And then the main villain's like, "Good, excellent." And then just this over-expressive, long-haired, over-the-top acting of things. And then the guy's just like, "Nah, I'm just gonna kick your ass in the tournament arc." And then the main villain's just like, "Oh, maybe I'll come." And it's just this crazy ridiculousness in it. And one of the first fights is he fights a guy that can tear pennies apart with his bare hands and was just born with this special, amazing grip. And so just tears people's flesh off with his bare hands. And the entire show is just brilliant because it starts off with just crazy fights happening between corporations, where corporations have a really strong fighter fight their battles for them against other people for bids in things. So bids for a development project or whatever, and whoever's fighter wins gets
Junie Tyson.
yeah, kind of Junie Tyson. Yeah. And so you do this, and you have a few starting episodes where you get to know the sort of main fighter and his handler almost, who's he's just an old man working for a company that just ends up dragged into the most ridiculous bullshit through circumstance. There's one bit where he's about to get assassinated. There's one bit where he's about to get assassinated by a rival company, and he bows to apologize for something that wasn't his fault, and so the poison dart misses him, and the guy's like, "Oh shit, this guy's reflexes must be insane to have noticed my attack."
I consider that Mr. Bean's fucking being animated.
And so it builds to this, and then eventually comes to, "Oh, okay, it's time for the tournament arc where all corporations will vie to be the head of this entire fight ring of corporations." And then you just go, "All right, sod the main character. We are going to follow in every detail every fight of the tournament arc and show every single one with all of the characters. So you don't know who will win or lose. There's none of that bullshit main character protection. And every single one has that level of tension of just like, oh, fuck, what is actually going to happen in this fight?" It also includes the best American Japanese from Jerry Tyson.
Oh god, not that guy.
The man who's Jerry Tyson, whose fighting style imitates. He imitated the most powerful thing he could think of: weaponry, with his ultimate attack, the Scud missile, where he just launches himself like a missile at people. He gets knocked out before the tournament's even begun and stumbles dick first into being a commentator, and then has such great commentating in "Oh yes, uppercut des!" It's just astounding. It's just fun. It's just ridiculous JoJo-esque fun with JoJo-like character. It is Luke described it as Pillar Men the Tournament. And I just really enjoy it. Sometimes the animation's a bit stilted outside of the fight scenes, and sometimes it's jarring to have the 2D, 3D comparisons between certain bits, but the characters are zany and interesting. The fights are really tense and fun to watch, and it's just a good show. It's just a dumb good show.
It sounds it. It looked like Baki, so I dodged it.
I much prefer it to Baki because
fucking Baki just Baki just focused too much on one character, so it sounds like it improves on that at the very least.
Oh, it does. It's just good, ridiculous fun for the show. Fun fact about Baki: the guy that wrote the manga for Baki, his daughter is the woman that does the Beastars manga.
What's that?
The show I talked about earlier.
The one now?
Yiffing what hell?
Furry the anime.
Anyway.
Oh, he's memeing! He's memeing!
Oh, he's memeing. Right. Next.
Oh, all right.
Conversation.
Unless you-
Anime.
All right,
Next.
host.
Yes.
It sounded like you were done.
All
Yeah,
right,
you don't just
well,
go,
on, man.
next.
Yeah, fuck it.
Change places.
Let's just roll into this with the grace and like stability of a conservative government.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh, let's
SAO continues to be SAO.
Can we keep the politics out of this podcast?
No.
Sorry, I apologize. What about Demon School?
Oh yeah. So
well,
the other
personally, I think Boris Johnson's a bit of a shit prime minister, if I'm honest.
Okay. Right. So the other
That was
show.
the shittest fake laugh.
The other show that I got interested in this season, because I kind of like looked at the poster and it looked very colourful and vibrant, so I decided to fucking watch it. Of a called Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun, which is basically a boy who basically, whenever he's told or asked to do something, he basically cannot refuse and does it, is one day forced to becoming the grandchild of a demon because he has no grandchildren and he wants one. So he basically becomes this grandchild of this demon and then gets sent to demon school where if he's ever found out to be human will probably get eaten. And it's this quite fun, interesting shonen show of a human somehow managing to survive by sheer luck in a demon school, and it's quite funny, and it reminds me of very other shows that I used to watch like a while ago, and it does have a very, I would say, probably Soul Eater-esque style to it in almost the way the school works and how stupid it is, and it's just fun. I don't really know what to say about it, apart from the fact that it's fun and enjoyable. It's not the most complex thing in the world, but it's like entertaining nonetheless, and probably one of the better shonens out there.
Please tell me you're not referring to this as a shonen genuinely.
Well, it kind of is.
It's absolutely not a shonen.
Shonen just basically means any show meant for people between the ages of 12 and 18.
You know for a fact that is not what shonen means anymore. Like shonen now means much more your kind of specific fighting style show aimed for people of that age. This
Shonen
is
means
not your shonen anymore. Like
the only way you could. The only bar for being a shonen is, does the show have a tournament arc? Does it have a tournament arc? Demon School? No. Does it have a?
Yet.
Does it?
I don't know whether it will have one in like 12.
Does it have a tournament arc? Shokugeki no Soma? Yes. Therefore, shonen.
I mean, yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
But I summed it up better.
Yeah, it'll probably have its tournament arc in about 10 episodes, I would assume.
God, you think it's gonna have 10 more episodes?
Oh no, the season's 24 episodes.
Oh wait, really?
Yes.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! Why does the good stuff only get 12 and the crap stuff get 24? Like, why is this a thing? Like, I'm also kind of watching this show, and I'm watching it as one of those on in the background while I'm doing something else, because every so often I look up and go, "What the hell's going on?" Who cares? And I go back to doing something else.
Well, that's the kind of show it's meant to be, so it's fine.
Apparently so. I don't know. I think it's fine, honestly. Nothing to write home about. It's occasionally funny, but it's like one of those really, how do I describe it? Do you know when a comedy show is really forcing itself to be funny? It feels like that. It feels like the writer's going, what can I put in that's a bit wacky and random to make it funny? And I'm just kind of sat there going, you could be way more subtle with this comedy, but you're just not. They just decide to go over the top for most of it for the sake of... I don't think it's for the sake of it. I think it's just because they don't know how else to be funny. And it kind of swings and misses, basically. It's like, for every time it hits, it misses twice.
I get what you're saying.
Mm.
I like the thing is, the characters just seem entertaining to me. I just kind of, they're all just colorful, vibrant, and just different. I mean, it's not particularly like you can tell that they've just gone like, okay, we need a character that does this, put that in there. We need a character that is this archetype, put that in there. I mean, you can tell that it's basically like that, but I don't really care.
It is a pile of tropey characters.
It sounds a lot like Rosario Vampire. I know that's a really old one, but kid gets sent to monster school full of people who are going to do the different trope things, and it has to stay kind of hidden and such. And discover that he's human.
I did, to be honest, I would say that I did start watching this because I like Rosario plus Vampire. Like, I like that story. However, this is not like that in the sense of Rosario plus Vampire is a harem show with like ecchi in it, whereas this is nothing like that.
Whereas this one's just a harem show.
Well, not really. None of the girls seem to be interested in him, so. I mean, there has been no romance in the show so far.
Hang on a minute, my humming clearly wasn't turned up high enough.
Okay, apart from like the one guy who's like apparently in love with the guy, by the looks of it.
That's good. That's good.
We need more of that.
Yeah, no, like it's not like it doesn't feel like Rosario plus Vampire at all. It'll be interesting to see what it does because it has like 24 episodes. But Rosario plus Vampire, if you're interested in it, read the manga. The anime second season is crap.
Damn.
But the manga is really good.
My dad owns all of the manga.
Shout out to Ben's dad.
Phil, sweet boy.
Oh, it is Phil, isn't it? I forgot his name for a minute.
But yeah, this is kind of like what I kind of use as the replacement for my seasonally isekai, because I kind of haven't really found one this seson that I like. Which is a nice segue into like Hugh. Go take over my segment.
I'd argue that Iruma-kun is an isekai. He literally gets transported to the demon world. Like, it's an isekai.
Well, yine.
So what this has in fact been is a really, really subtle Alastair's isekai corner, which he keeps on trying to push into Hugh's isekai trash pile, because he wants me to apparently talk about the isekai this season because I'm the only one watching them.
Well, you said you told me you were going to do this, right?
I did agree to do this, and then I realized later on that was a really, really bad idea. There's one isekai this season worth watching, and it's because it's not an isekai that you'd expect. Basically, the isekai is called Adolescence of a Bookworm, and it's about a bookworm that gets sent to another world, and the entire plot is just her figuring out how to make books. That's it.
Why couldn't it just be an actual bookworm? Like just a worm that lives in books and eats books.
No, that would be an intriguing. It wouldn't be. None of the fucking concepts are intriguing anymore. No. Literally none of them.
They're absolutely not.
They weren't intriguing after Sword Art fucking Online. Anyway,
which is fine and still going on and it's still fine. The villain's a bit meh like this season. I think they're doing a bad job of it, but I'll keep watching it.
No, I mean, yeah, Allison's Bookworm's fine. I'd say it's worth watching if you want to see something a bit calm and different. Because it is just really about someone that wants to make books in a world where books don't exist. And so it's just kind of this slow but sure kind of, what am I going to do now? How am I going to try to make a book today? What am I going to do about this thing? Slowly but surely. It's like someone looked at Spice and Wolf and went, I kind of want to do something like that, but then also got told, you have to do an isekai.
What the fuck is wrong with anime? You have to do Spice and Wolf, a good anime, and then make it an isekai. Oh.
Basically.
Can't we just get the rest of Spice and Wolf animated?
Yeah, please. God.
It's in you can get it VR'd if you really, really want to, because there's the Spice and Wolf VR experience.
There is.
I'm terrified by the implications of that.
Absolutely. At least it's better than a Spice and Wolf pachinko machine.
Is it, though?
I've had some strains of colon cancer, which are better than fucking pachinko.
Yeah. Shout out to Konami.
Yes, shout out to the Silent Hill
shout out to
pachinko
Konami,
machine.
who actively get off at flushing physically money down the toilet.
I think my favorite is I can't remember if it was Jim Sterling. I think it was Jim Sterling who basically said to give Konami credit, at least it now kind of stays underneath the floorboards and doesn't flash itself to people. It just occasionally craps out a pachinko machine and then goes back to the darkness.
Dun 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 dun.
Dead.
I will say if we're hijacking, if I'm being allowed to hijack Alastair's Isekai Corner, I would instead like to add in the brand new segment of what I'm simply going to refer to as Hugh's backpedal segment, where I am going to stand up and be counted in my backpedaling. Do you remember last year where I described the season 4 of Food Wars as being basically one of the worst things I'd ever watched because it took one of my favorite manga and anime and punched it in the head repeatedly until it couldn't remember its own name?
Could you repeat? Sorry, which anime was it?
Food Wars.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, the new season came out, and I'm apparently a sucker for just going back to the person that's been beating me for years. As I go back to Food Wars Season 5, sit down in front of the television, politely ask it to just get it over with, and now 5/6 episodes in, I'm sat there going, oh crap, it's good again. Oh god damn it. After one stumbling block where it completely and totally forgets to explain to you why that piece of food was delicious, and I'm just like, that's annoying. The rest of the show's really, really good. Because it sat down and went, okay, well, what was crap about the last one? It just sat and thought you cared about things when you didn't. Okay, how do we make it better? Do we just do an entire tournament arc for literally the entire 12 episodes? Yep, done. And this is the final season as well, which means they're going to finish it all off. So I can't wait to have the backpedal segment in the next seasonal podcast anime, where I have to backpedal on my backpedal and claim that it's now gotten bad again.
Yeah, because the manga's shit for the last arc.
Oh yeah, I read the final couple of chapters of Food Wars, and I complained to Joe and Lewis about this quite significantly for a little while.
Oh no, I've read it all. It's crap. It's the most horrendous piece of dog shit ever written.
It's bad. But for now, the show's gotten really good again, and I'm kind of... It's one of those, I'm both pleased and disappointed, because I'm pleased because I'm like, good, I get more good Food Wars, and disappointed because I'm like, what the hell happened for 12 episodes? But yeah, that was Hugh's backpedal segment.
You had 3 backpedals in it. Well done.
Yep, there were multiple backpedals.
The thing is, I don't really want to introduce this show as a fucking Preston, because judging by how all your top 5s change year by year, I'm the only one who's going to actually have an opinion by the end of this.
I'll have you find my top 5 has not changed for 4 years, but thank you very much.
My top 5 hasn't changed since we made that podcast.
Damn. A full 3 months now, okay. Look, in which case, does anyone else have another anime?
I've got a backpedal.
What's the backpedal? Join the backpedal segment. Come, we have seats.
Demon Slayer's really, really fucking good.
Damn it! Now I have to Damn it! I have to backpedal again. Yeah, you're right. Stop making me have to. Yeah. All right. Here's the thing about Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer's episodes 1 and 2 are fine. It gets really, really boring in the second half of the first half. So the second quarter, and then the second half, I'm like, crap, it's good.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. And episode 19 deserved the amount of fucking praise it got.
I wouldn't call it amazing, but I definitely sit down and go, oh, crap. Yeah, I've got to watch all 24 episodes of this now, haven't I?
It's a really good show.
It's all those ones
I'm now going to have to go back and watch all of it, because I've seen none of it.
Just basically watch the first 2 episodes, then skip 4 episodes, and then go from there.
Oh, no, I quite liked the
rock splitting in half episode that bored me to sleep.
The rock splitting in half episode, no, but I liked the one. I liked him fighting the demon and his first big.
Which one?
The one that he needed the rock splitting in half to be able to cut his neck.
Don't worry, Alastair, I haven't seen any of it either. The only thing I can tell you about the show is that it was very popular at Comic-Con as a cosplay. That's literally the only thing I could tell you about
The only thing I know from the show are the memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming
Was there any Nezuko's actually being carried by anyone?
There was a small child with its mother. Yes.
Oh, that's
that's
pretty
adorable.
nice.
That's
actually
adorable.
pretty nice. Dear. Anyone else like to backpedal? Since we're in the backpedal segment.
Thank you for recommending Vinland Saga a year ago.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's still airing, isn't it?
Yes.
I also forgot to watch like the last 3 episodes of it because I was away on one of the days it airs and forgot to go back. It's really good still.
I'm only on like episode 3. But...
I am waiting for it to finish to continue watching it, but I did continue watching it after we last talked, and everyone had all the good things to say. And so I will admit it is much better than I gave it credit for at the start.
Huge backpedal segment.
But as I say, I'm holding off to be able to watch the whole thing rather than... Because what I'll end up doing at this point is marathon a shit ton of episodes, then have to stop and go back to weekly format, which is going to be awful.
Which is something you just don't want to have to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just waiting for it to be done.
The new season of My Hero Academia continues to be really, really boring.
I've not seen it.
It's really boring. Like, ultra get on with it boring. Because...
It has started slow. The thing is with this is the first time My Hero's attempting a longer arc. So yeah, the beginning of this arc is a bit slow.
It introduces the villain with all the grace of a glider that's lost a wing. Like, it just goes, new villain, what? New villain, huh. Like, it doesn't even bother.
Correct as time goes on.
Oh no, I agreed with you after like the second series. The third season of My Hero isn't good.
Hey, mate, I'm not attacking your opinion. I'm just saying that I'm happy that I'm good.
We left it in Hakone.
Left what in Hakone?
Exactly.
I'm just saying I'm right.
Good point. Does anyone else have a show? Otherwise, I can finish off with a special mention.
Oh, go on. Sorry, Ben.
No, you go, mate. I've talked way more than you. Feel free.
I was going to say I watched a bit more Mirai Nikki. I think I prefer Devilman. That's probably my only backpedal.
There we go. Thank you.
Is anyone watching Psychopath season 3?
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for all of it to come out together. So, because I love Psychopaths, because isn't it being done by the same director that did the movie and the first season?
Yes, it is.
I can't wait to watch this, but the thing is, I've watched every single season of Psychopaths as like one continuous chunk. I watched the first season without stopping. I just, with some friends, sat down and watched all 24 episodes in a single go, and I did the same with season 2 and the movie. So when season 3 got announced,
the movie's more understandable.
Oh no, 100%. With season 3, I've basically decided I've done this with every other Psychopaths because I get so into Psychopaths that I need to know. So I'm waiting. So what I'm going to politely do is I am going to place my headphones down on the table, and I will ask you politely to put in the group chat when you are finished talking about it.
Well, I wasn't actually going to say anything. I'm not watching it. I wanted to know if anyone else was watching it.
Yeah. Apparently no one, despite the fact that we all want to, but no one is, which is kind of showing a lot about our personalities right now.
It's like suicide, mate. Like, fucking, you gotta be, like, give some credit.
And you have to do it in a group, otherwise it's just weird.
The other show that is also kind of like that for me is I'm waiting for Chihaya Furu season 3 to be completely done.
Yeah,
because I can't.
That was one of those things you were waiting.
It's like I'm surprised that there is a season 3 of the show because there is already 2 seasons of the show out, and they're not like 12 episode seasons. They're full like 24 episode seasons, and this third season I think is also another 24. So there'll be like 70 odd of the show, of a show about a Japanese poetry card game.
I was really wondering how much mileage you'd be able to get out of Kurata. Like,
it gives me hope for it gives me hope for March Comes In Like a Lion season 3. Whether or not I actually want that is a different matter, but it at least gives me hope that it might be a thing I could consider.
But yeah, no, the Chihaya Furu in itself it's surprising of what it manages to actually do when it's based around a Japanese poetry card game. That if you watch the card game in real life would be boring as sin, but because through the magic of anime, it is very exciting for some reason. And the characters are great in it.
I kind of disagree with the part that it would be boring in real life. The only reason we're going to find it boring is because, 4/5 of us don't speak the language. But I get the feeling that if we were able to speak the language, it'd be surprisingly engaging, because you get tense in that shit. And,
Yeah.
There's also the aspect of play along at home, where it's like, can you recognize the poetry line before they can?
Well, the thing is, I meant it more in the sense of the visually of... When you watch them play, visually, it will literally just be in real life of them just slapping the ground with their hand. Which, in the anime, it's like these gentle swipes and how differently they swipe the cards, and it's just like...
I'd make a slight sarcastic reply that Yu-Gi-Oh exists, but we'll leave that there. A game where people put down cards.
And there is going to be a Magic the Gathering TV series. Then again, it's just going to focus on the characters.
Excuse me, we like to talk about Eastern animation over here, not your fucking Westaboo bullshit.
I do apologise, sir.
If we have to do that, we have to talk about the League of Legends anime, and God, am I not doing that?
Damn.
No. Yeah. No, I think it'll probably be cool. I do want to watch Psychopath Season 3, but I know that Psychopath Season 2 kind of shits the bed a bit, and I'm like,
I have faith because
I don't know. Well, it's Gen-san again, isn't it?
It's not. I don't know if it's.
Never mind then.
I don't know if it's being done by Gen-san again, but I know for a fact that it is, as I've been said, being directed by the same guy that did the first season, and he is an exceptionally good director. He knows what he is doing, so it gives me at least some hope that this should be relatively good, all things considered. It's not being done by Gen-san, I've just looked it up. It's being done by another bloke in terms of writing. But I think the reason why Season 2 didn't work is because it wasn't done by the people that originally made it. It just was kind of left out to oh my god, Psychopath Season 2 was in fact directed by the same bloke. I've just looked it up. Well, there goes my argument. My argument. Well, I'll place my argument on the ground and stamp on it a few times. Yeah. I mean, maybe they've had some time to think about it, and they've had a couple of movies under their belt that actually were quite good. So maybe this is good. People are saying it is good. I've heard very good.
We're on the level of this would be interesting. Let's move on.
Fair enough. In which case, does anyone have another anime? Shall I throw in my special mention?
No, I think you're good.
Well, We Never Learn is Season 2's enjoyable as much as this first season. I mean, I don't have anything to say about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree, I suppose. In which case, I shall begin with my honourable mention for a show that aired at the tail end of last season, but going into this season. And since this show has been off air for 17 years, I think that I can probably talk about it. I want you all to cast your minds back to when you were first getting into anime and the absolute crap that you thought was good because you at no point had anything to actually compare it to.
Code Geass.
Yeah, Code Geass. Dab. So I've kind of come around to the fact that the universe is in fact sentient. And that every so often the universe will have a look at you and will think, how are they doing? And I think the universe recently, like end of last season, turned up to my door, knocked on the door and was like, hey Hugh, how you doing? Yeah, man, you're crushing it. You're doing really goddamn well. So we thought we'd get you a little present. And I'm like, have you come with, something particularly interesting? Have you brought me that magic card I've always wanted? And it went, no, we're going to give you 2 OVAs for a show that you cared about when you first started an anime and hasn't aired for 5 years. What? So 5 years ago, a show called Machimochi Rurumo aired, and I watched it, and it's just about a witch, and it sucks. But I liked it because I had nothing to compare it to. And it had 12 episodes, and then when it finished, no one spoke about it. Ever. I'm convinced that everyone just forgot it existed. And then the universe looked me directly in the eyes and went, you're doing well. Here's 2 OVAs that conclude the story just for you. And I'm straight up not sure what the hell happened. But apparently, if you wish hard enough, they'll just start making anime specifically for you now. because this has happened. Like, I watched those 2 episodes and went, it's like I'm 19 again. Like, what the hell?
You really started late.
I did. I know I did. But I'm like, what the hell? Like, these are 2 OVAs that are literally concluding a story that I didn't care about once I finished watching it. And I'm like, yeah, sod it. Let's watch it. And I'm not even joking here. This show is like a cutesy-wootsy comedy show with a bit of ecchi in it. And it has the balls in the final 2 episodes to murder the main character. Straight up dies. Just dead. And I'm like, wait, really?
I always like that balls move.
And then the episode ends.
And then was always good for that.
Yeah, and then we're done. That's it. And I was like, I need to talk about this to someone. Because I just didn't get it. I'm like, why the fuck would this show that didn't air for 5 years, that absolutely no one ever speaks about, get 2 surprisingly high production quality OVAs that end with the main character dying? I'm like, fair. This is a thing now. And weirdly, that is the most enjoyable show this season as far as I'm concerned, just because it was built in solely for me.
That's swell for you, Hugh. I'm glad.
When will they make the show that's solely for me?
They made it.
They already have.
It was the
quintessential quintuplets.
Dab.
Oh, I'm looking forward to season 2 of that in winter.
Oh god, it is getting a season 2, isn't it?
Heterochromic hextuplets. Nothing. Fuck you all.
Good night. Good night.
And do you want me to see us off? In which case, if no one else has any crap opinions about anime,
go for it.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Dab.